two supplements that have personally helped me to improve my body composition a lot, take that off there, it was drying, are creatine and BCAAs. So creatine, we all know, is great for us. Now, again, I take other stuff too, but these I've noticed a very significant tangible difference from when I wasn't taking them. Now, creatine, we know, great for your muscles. It's something that supports IGF-1 release, insulin-like growth factor 1, production of satellite cells, immature muscle cells, myonuclei, myotubes, more mature muscle cells, the influx of amino acids into muscle tissue, helps them differentiate, proliferate, increases muscle size, hydrates cells. Hydration is going to improve function of all of our cells, among other things, right? Crosses the blood-brain barrier, good for your brain as well. Now, donates a phosphate group to ADP to make ATP. That's probably what most of us know about creatine. But if you didn't know the aforementioned things, that's a lot of the reason it promotes muscle growth. So creatine's a big one. How much? I take, typically people will take 5 grams. Now, if you have more muscle mass, you can take 10 grams in a day. Now, if you've taken creatine for a while, you don't need to load it, right? But if you've never had it, you can go through a loading phase, which the typical recommendation for such is 5 grams, say 4 or 5 times a day for about 7 to 10 days. Right? Then you should have ample amounts of creatine stored in skeletal muscle, where 3 to 5 grams per day is a sufficient maintenance dose. Right? But I've noticed a big difference since taking 10 grams of creatine a day. Now, there's creatine in Super U, but even if you don't want Super U, you're just looking to improve body composition, here are a couple things that definitely help. One is creatine. The other, as we said, BCAAs. So BCAAs are interesting, right? You look them up online, and they get a bad rap often in terms of the research. Well, they'll show mixed results, or they didn't show significant improvement in body composition and things of that nature. But there are also studies that show improvement in body composition. And for me personally, I can definitely attest a positive anecdote with BCAA supplementation in terms of my body composition. I noticed I looked denser. I was getting bigger faster. You look at BCAAs, and what are they? Leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Right? Leucine, we want twice as much of. It's the primary amino acid involved in muscle protein synthesis or muscle growth, albeit all three are involved in MPS or muscle protein synthesis. So I take them isolated, right? I take pure leucine, pure isoleucine, and pure valine. Now, you can get a supplement that has all three of them in there mixed, and that's just fine. And typically a high-dose BCAA supplement, probably the highest you'll find on the counter at somewhere like GNC, is 7-gram dose. Right? Now, typically they're 5, but you'll find a 7-gram dose. Now, for me, that's just not enough. Now, this, granted, somebody doesn't have kidney issues or liver disease or is pregnant or breastfeeding. Right? Creatine is actually good for pregnant women. But, you would like to avoid, both of these if you have any liver, kidney conditions, anything of that nature, right? But otherwise, for the vast majority of us, they can improve your physical performance, and that can help you to improve your body composition in itself and directly support muscle growth. So like we said about creatine, it supports the release of IGF-1. That supports the influx of amino acids into skeletal muscle tissue. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So if we're taking amino acids alongside that creatine that promote muscle growth, and that's their primary job, well, then that seems like it'd be a great combo, right? Now, why aren't there BCAAs in Super U? Well, it's a heavy dose of BCAAs to be significant, at least in my experience and in testing, and that's a lot of extra powder. I'd rather make a pure BCAA supplement on the side, right? So we don't need to have everything in one supplement. But I do take them, again, in isolation every day. So how much do I take? And how much do I recommend that avid lifters take that are really trying to get leaner, trying to put on more muscle? 91 milligrams per pound is actually the common recommendation as of this year per Examine. 91 milligrams per pound of body weight. So, typically somebody who's like 200 pounds, you look, 225, they're around 20 grams, something of that nature in a day, which is a lot more than typically we take when we supplement with BCAAs, right? So don't necessarily just go by what you hear. Don't, you gotta see what works for you, see what you see a difference with. And I've been taking about 40 grams of BCAAs for years now. And it really, really made a difference for me. And it's funny because that research came out relatively recently. Right? And I was like, well, that makes sense. You know, I did notice a difference between 10 grams or 40, you know. So you could take 20 at a time, 20 twice a day if you're somebody, again, who really is an avid lifter. But if you want to go kind of by the book, 91 milligrams per pound, that's the minimum you should be having to support optimal muscle growth. So what's another one I would throw in there if I was to throw a third one? Beta-alanine is definitely a great supplement, reducing acidity in the muscles, even improving, you know, tactical performance, especially under duress, states of stress. You know, it's a great thing, beta-alanine. It's a synergy with creatine as well. But alpha GPC, if I was going to put a third one, might be alpha GPC, tied with probably beta-alanine. But alpha GPC, alpha glycerylphosphorylcholine, is commonly taken as a mental thing, as a nootropic. You know, it's something that improves focus, attention, and memory, and mood, and motivation, and supports arousal, and even facilitates muscle contraction, though, because it's a precursor to acetylcholine, is choline, right? And acetylcholine is pretty much ubiquitously used throughout the body as a neurotransmitter, as a communicating chemical, we could say, right? And so that's aside from one type of receptor in the sympathetic nervous system, postganglionic sympathetic, if you guys are science people. That would be adrenaline we would typically use instead. And we use tons of other chemicals. But acetylcholine's all over, right? And it crosses the blood-brain barrier, so it's good for thinking. But what people forget about with alpha GPC, again, it facilitates muscle contraction and motivation and arousal, helping you get better workouts. You're focused during your workout, you're getting more out of it, right? And so it could be that same type of thing where creatine's giving you more energy, so on the back end, you're making greater gains because you're just purely having better workouts. But it also boosts growth hormone directly. So that's when it's taken at 600 milligrams. So 600 milligrams of alpha GPC has been proven in clinical trials to boost levels of growth hormone. So what does that mean? It'll help you grow, right? At least your muscles. So that's you know, that's the gist of what I would say are some of the top supplements for me in my personal experience that have made a significant difference in my body composition, right? And I am my product, you know. So if you, yeah. There you go. That's what the BCAAs and the creatine, right? But the thing is, I want my muscles to pop out. I don't just want to be skinny or big, you know. I want to be in good shape and be athletic. And these things have helped me to do so, right? You go taking a bunch of artificial shit, it might not do that for you. So, you know, that's what we got for you. You know, don't be afraid if you're a female too, to support muscle growth, right? To support gaining lean mass. Don't just try to be doing tons and tons of reps of really lightweight and things of that nature. You don't be afraid to take creatine. I mean, it can significantly improve body composition, even for people that don't want to be bodybuilders. So that's what we got for you guys today. Hope you found it fascinating and useful, potentially. So let's see what we got on here. Say hi to the people. And we're going to go to Del Fuego and party because it's New Year's. So that's what we're doing. Sexy! The gay handshake. Sex the gay handshake. How you doing? Nice to see you. Dastrin. That 30. Little Big. Planet Forever. Nilo Far. Mahek. Crystal Del Mar. Scort Burr. Crystal, first one of the day. Thanks for the support. This one's for you, my fine feathered friend. I hope you're doing great. Haven't talked to you in some time. But as for now, that's all we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll definitely see you then. This is the last When Wellness of 2023. It's been an honor, and we'll see you in 2024. Have a great, great New Year's Eve. Be safe, be happy, have fun. See you then. Thanks.